Those aren't provided by the company. I do that in self-defense is what that is.
Thank you.
When you get done, if you get done coloring and you're getting real itchy, real bored, just look at the back end of the horses. There's a lot of fun coming up there. Yeah. Let's start by introducing these guys. Over on the left we have Maurice. In the middle we have Martin, and on the right we have Chuck. Nice healthy team of Belgians. This is the largest team of working horses on the island. Weighing in somewhere around 6,500 pounds. Maurice is the tallest horse on the island at 20 hands, and he's the heaviest, coming in somewhere around 2,300 pounds. So they'll give us a good ride. Let's start with the fact that we're in Mackinac State Park. However, had this been 1875, I'd be telling you we were in Mackinac National Park. This was a national park in 1875. Second national park in the U.S., right behind Yellowstone. Government had the land. They had Fort soldiers that cut the trails. Most of what we're on today were cut in the 1880s. So they made it a national park. That went on for 20 years. Trails got cut. Park was looking good. Soldiers were acting like park rangers instead of soldiers. Government wanted them elsewhere. They shut the fort down, shipped the soldiers out. They gave everything back to the state of Michigan, provided we kept it a park. We did. Became Michigan's first state park in 1895. You're going to see a lot of wildflowers in the park today, but don't be picking on them. They're all protected. Use so much to pick a dandelion, you could get fined $50. Pick one of them white trillium you see, goes up to 100. Now if you find a yellow lady slipper, pick a yellow lady slipper. Get caught with that, the fine is $1,000. But guys, I got to tell you, the look on your wife's face when she realizes you've done picked her a $3,000 bouquet, now that's priceless. Look at the holes in that tree right there. Pileated woodpecker. Pileated woodpecker. Bird stands 12 to 18 inches tall, 3-foot wingspan, and a big red head. That is the woodpecker Woody Woodpecker was modeled after. Do you know who Woody Woodpecker is?
No.
Yeah, you know back there. You know who he is? Good for you. Most kids don't. We do a lot of school kids. I always get the deer in the headlight looks when I mention Woody Woodpecker. Nice patch of blue forget-me-not. Maybe some white ones, yep. White and blue forget-me-not. Don't have a lot of animals on the island. Got some coyote that come across the ice years ago. They live on the other side of the island yet, along with a few fox. Some woodchuck around town. A few otters on the waterfront. Other than that, it's rabbits and squirrels and lots of them. All 4 colors of the squirrel, red, brown, black, and gray. Now, it's very unusual to have all 4 in the same area. We have no bear and we have no deer. Deer occasionally come across the ice from the upper, but there's not enough food here for them. So they turn around pretty quick and head back. Don't know what your driver told you about Father Marquette. So Father Marquette came to this island with a band of Hurons. Hurons were an agricultural tribe. They depended on growing their own food. Well, they found out when they got here, they landed on top of a limestone rock. They couldn't grow nothing. They had to leave within the first year. And that's the same thing the deer find out. That's why they got to go. The soil's so lousy, it won't support anything, hardly. Now, the reason for that is island is basically limestone rock. It was logged off years ago. Didn't have coal to heat these homes. They had to use the trees up. Now, if you want a good deep soil, a fertile soil, the kind of support food for the deer and man, you need decaying vegetation, add some depth to the soil, add nutrients. Trees are the bulk of that. There were no trees. The soil never got very deep, nor is it very fertile. They say in some spots you can poke your finger down and hit solid rock. Tends to average 3.5 to 4.5 foot. Purple creepy myrtle on both sides of the carriage. Sought after ground covered. In most areas it grows wild here. And then coming in between that up front here on both sides is lily of the valley. Well, as I said, the soil is somewhat shallow, so that old phrase, 6 foot under, not a Mackinac, you ain't. No. You may be 2 foot under, you may be only a foot under, but seldom are you 6. Last line on that sign says alcoholic beverages are prohibited. Keep that in mind should you come back up. Anybody know why that is? Too many spirits out there already. You got an hour to go, too. I like coming out here now that I've been here 5 years. These names mean something. Behind that iron railing, falling to our rear, a guy named Murray built the Murray Hotel. You got some Dowds out there. You may have seen Dowd's Grocery on the way up. Oldest family-owned grocery in the United States. It was the current owner's great-grandfather that built the governor's residence and many of those fine homes along the East Bluff. Green marker to horse and buggy on this island without at least thinking the name Chambers. He went by Chambers Livery on the way up. They've been in it since 1860 continuously, and it's Dr. Bill Chambers, a direct descendant, that runs this company today. You got John Early out there. It was on John Early's farm in 1814. The only battle fought in Michigan during the War of 1812 was fought on his farm, the other side of the island. And you got the guy responsible for all this craziness, all the people you see town, all the kids, the bicycles. A fellow named Murdoch is buried here. He's the one that came up with that fudge stuff in 1887. We've never been the same since. These cemeteries are open for burial. You don't have to live here. You don't have to be born here. I guess it's around $5,000 for a burial plot, about the same for a one-time maintenance fee. Now this is the Catholic cemetery we're running alongside of. Oh, before I get late Senator past Lieutenant Governor Philip Hart of Michigan is also buried here. Catholic cemetery now across the street. The locals call that the Protestant and everybody else cemetery. You're going to see a cross in the back of that one as we round the corner here. It says Williams on it. That's G. Menon Williams, past governor of Michigan. In fact, Philip Hart was his lieutenant governor. Now, G. Menon Williams had a nickname, Soapy. Anybody remember why that was? Well, they started out with a soap company. They ended up with the world's largest men care product company, the Menon Williams Company. Still see those products on the shelf today. He's a well-loved governor, especially by some of our retired drivers. I talked to one of them some time back. Likes to tell me stories of the old days. Well, it turns out about 12 of them used to stop at what's now the Pink Pony to have a beer after work. That was at a time when G. Menon Williams was governor. Now, G. Menon Williams was no stranger to that tavern, so what they did, they memorized his theme song to his Soapy Suds product. So when Mr. Williams walked in, they would start singing that theme song. He'd walk over and buy them all around a beer. So they liked that song. Fort Cemetery, notice the flag is at half-staff. That's because of the 111 graves in there. 69 are of unknown soldiers. 40 of those unknowns died in the battle I spoke of. 1814 on the other side of the island. That's when the Americans returned to this island to try and recapture it from the British, who had taken it from them at the very beginning of the War of 1812. They were unsuccessful. All the dead British and American soldiers were buried over on the other side of the island, that battlefield. Simple wood crosses, no names. When we established this cemetery, they were brought over here. And that does mean, without a doubt, there's probably British unknowns out there.